the worst of it's kind of left my memory, to be honest. I mean, uh I've just been recently it's all been tariff news and
Yeah,
slight stock market crash, which I've been keeping up with.
yeah, yeah. Are you heavily invested in stocks or at all?
I'm fairly invested. It's all
Yeah,
long-term stuff, so it's nothing I care too much about. But I don't know how familiar you are with Nvidia, but I was up early morning on the 30th trying to they just released like a new line of their uh GPUs um just before their crash, and
mm,
I was in line to get one, but it's one of those things where it's like they only release like 1,000 of them because that's like just how much they can make.
I see.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm honestly not familiar with the stock game. So PPUs just sounds like gibberish to me.
GPUs, a
Oh,
graphical processing unit.
GPUs. Oh, I
But
thought you
I
said,
mean
okay, yeah.
that's the whole thing. I mean that's what everybody's artificial intelligence runs on is a GPU, and obviously Nvidia's the number one manufacturer, and uh you need them for gaming, but
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
extremely high demand crypto mining product and AI tool that you can't buy.
hmm. Yeah, you're more invested into tech than I am, clearly, because and
But then
you and other techies would know exactly how, if that stuff is being affected by stocks, then and you're involved with it, you're having hand experience of its effects.
yeah, well, I mean it comes at a great time with the Trump administration doing all these tariffs because no one knows who to blame, and it's like
Mhm.
people on the left are justifiably pointing their fingers and they're being like, hey, look, you guys blamed Biden for stuff like this when it happened.
Yeah,
Might as well try to blame Trump. Uh, but
yeah.
I mean, it was significant. I mean, Nvidia had like a 15% crash, was like went from 140 to 115, and yeah.
I wish I could help more with that, but 140 to 114. I literally know nothing about stocks other than long, like put your money in for long term and don't touch it. You know. Um,
Well, it's yeah. Who knows what's gonna happen? I mean, with the obviously with the tariffs, people are more bearish. They're more cautious
yeah.
as far as the short-term future goes.
Yeah, well, just economically speaking, a lot of companies were preparing for the tariff. So even before they were implemented, we saw a lot of changes, um, as a proactive response to the tariffs. And it's going to continue. I'm assuming, but it's probably going to continue to be um, wonky throughout Trump's presidency, given that he's so unpredictable. And you never know what he's gonna do. He says one thing and then he just does something else or he
Yeah,
lies.
yeah. I mean, it's that's absolutely true. I was reading an article today about the tariffs. I don't know how familiar with our you are with the specifics. Right now, the only like tariff we have in place, we have a 10% uh Trump imposed tariff on everything from China right now, and then
Yeah,
there was obviously the Canada and Mexico, which I think is like 25%. That's not even like active at the moment. He's like
yeah,
I I don't really understand what's going on there, but that's not currently active. So we only have that 10% tariff with China. And
yeah,
it's one of those things. Obviously, with Trump, it's like he's gonna he's unpredictable, but what is predictable about it is he's gonna do whatever um his his rich close associates want him to do. I mean,
yeah.
so who knows?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, to the core, the man is selfish.
No.
Completely selfish. Um, the reason why I haven't been paying to news as much is because there's just so much contradiction, so many lies. It would be exhausting to sift through all of that.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen uh at least some of the viral clips of
Mm,
like some like journalists or just internet personalities going up to Trump supporters and like asking them like what a tariff is, and then
yeah,
they've got like
yeah.
an economic like a trade they got like a professional um like trade expert who like it actually like uh pays for tariffs or at least collects tariffs like right next to them to like be like no, this is how they actually work. I don't know if
I know
you've seen it.
exactly the video you're talking about. I don't know his name. It's a guy with glasses and brown hair. He'll pretend to be Trump supporter,
Right.
and like go to conferences and get kicked out. It's hilarious. But that specific video, I think has gotten a lot of attention lately. People have been interviewing Trump supporters for months now since Trump has announced them before he was elected.
Right. Right.
A funny statistic I saw was after Trump got elected, spikes in Google of people searching what are tariffs went up
Yeah, I
significantly.
did see that. I did see that.
So it's that kind of stuff that similar type of narrative information that's getting pushed right now heavily, heavily by Elon Musk, by reporters, by Trump. I don't know if you've seen Trump at any of his press conferences, but any question he is not a fan of, he says, "Okay, calm down,
Yeah,
play plays
there
the
was one
victim."
recently. There was one recently. I can't remember uh the exact question. I think it might have been an Associated Press reporter. They were grilling him on just like they were just like fact checking him like during one of those press conferences. It
Yeah.
was some older like reporter. I don't know,
Hmm.
late 50s or whatever, but I wish I remember the question, but obviously like he like checks Trump and then Trump just goes on to the next reporter and just like be quiet, be quiet.
Yeah, he just moves on.
Who's next?
Yeah,
Who's next?
yeah. Nope, exactly. There's no responding to any type of truth. Um,
And to be fair to Trump, I mean, I, I would expect any politician to behave like that, to be honest, in as far as fact checks during press conferences go. I mean, I'm sure it's not unlike Biden to do the same thing, but I like to think I hold all politicians to the same standard.
I don't know. I disagree with that. I think fact checking in real time is one of the few ways where we can make sense of things. At least right now.
No, no,
I see where you're coming
I think it's
from.
noble. What I mean
Yeah.
is, I would ex I wouldn't put it past any other politician, including Trump, to move on to somebody else if they're being fact checked real time.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. That's fair. I mean, like, yeah, there are a million reporters. You want to not stick with one person and allow other people to get
well,
involved.
it's
And
not even that.
if you don't like the line of questioning, then
Yeah.
that's an opportunity to move on. I do understand that. I do think at this moment, however, um, there's a need for it.
No, obviously there's a need. Obviously, it's a good thing to for reporters to do.
Right,
I
right.
I hold every politician to the same standard. I don't think it's exclusive to Trump that he uh like almost ignores it or says, "All right, that's enough. We'll move on to the next person." I don't think that's exclusive to Donald Trump.
Right. No, absolutely. I just think the reasoning why I say I think it's important, and I wish we did get a response from him, which he never would do, is just the media strategy. There's so much news. Like I said, it's impossible to sift through and fact check everything when they keep pumping out new stuff every single day, it's really easy for them to move on and people forget about the details. They remember the headlines, they remember what Trump says, what
Of
Elon
course.
says. So having these fact checks in real time along with whatever narrative Trump is trying to push, is one of the most helpful things I think we can do right now. Being confrontational. Um, I think to some degree, at certain points, not all the time. I don't want press reporters, journalists to just be hyper aggressive. That's not useful, but definitely certain moments, um, responding to certain policies or executive orders of Trump, um, important. For example, repealing one of the civil rights acts, taking away funding. Well, Elon is doing this, taking away funding from some cancer research or from veteran benefits. Stuff like that needs to be highlighted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
No doubt.
but yeah, it's just impossibly difficult. And I don't think the a lot of the right-winged audience even understand the points that they're making or the things that they're agreeing with. I've seen a lot of supporters. It seems like they're going so far right that they're coming back to the left and actually agreeing with us. On Twitter, I saw there was at a protest, there was a trans or LGBTQ supporting um, woman um, or man. I don't know what pronouns they use, but they were holding an AK-47.
Yes, I just saw that picture.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
they're holding an AK-47
Not
and
technically an AK-47, but yeah.
oh, was it not a real gun?
Well, it's it's probably a real gun. I mean, who knows if it's real or not? But if it is real, it's most certainly not an AK-47. It's technically for any conservatives listening who would just like ignore you based on getting your gun facts wrong. It's probably like an AKM or an AK-74.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's totally fair. I definitely didn't look too hard at the gun there, nor would I
You
know the
you wouldn't
difference
be able to
between a
tell. It's just
AK.
like
Yeah,
it's just a matter of like AK-47s just don't like exist anymore. It's like
right. They had a high-powered rifle. Um, and Libs of TikTok was complaining about this. Um, People are responding, well, what about the Second Amendment? And someone responded, well, it doesn't apply to people with severe mental illnesses. First off, being trans is not a severe mental illness. Second of all, okay,
yeah, based as fuck.
based as fuck. This guy wants gun control. This guy wants to regulate guns. Thank you, sir, for being so progressive.
Yeah, I that's funny you point that out. I haven't noticed a ton of that, but yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, there was something else I made a post about on that same topic. I forget what it was, but I've been seeing it. Um, so they clearly don't understand where even they stand.
Right, yeah, of course.
Um, so at this point, it feels useless to get involved halfway. And I think this should go for everyone, but just wait for the facts. People like Elon, people like Trump, who are known pathological liars, you simply cannot take anything that they say at face value. There might be some things that are truthful sometimes. There might be things that are completely wrong. There might be half truths, but their history of lying takes them out of the possibility of trust. And there are so many people who are so quick to jump on Elon's side, and it's really scary.
Yeah, well, I mean, goes back to the heart of this podcast. We like science and it's not I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. It's not exactly in accordance with the scientific method to just take anything on face value.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. You really can't trust anything, even um, theories that have been established for a long time. They're theories for a reason. Even if we can say with 99% confidence this is probably correct. Always being open to being corrected, having new theories come in and be better or more proper is what science is about. And it's just so depressing to see so many people in the opposite boat and not have this kind of understanding.
Well, I mean, at least with a theory, you've got mountains of evidence
Right, right.
with
Yeah, and
uh
that's what I mean with like
with words
99%
spoken
confidence.
by Trump and Elon. You don't have a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so scary. They say this stuff and a partial truth is all they need and they move on. For example, the USAID stuff. I don't know if you've been following that. Um, Elon has basically um, gotten control of everyone's uh, deepest information, security, social security numbers, um, tax information, um, very important information. And the group that has been um, supervising, I guess, or the administrators of of that action is a group of 20-year-olds, just a group of kids who are in college and don't have, I
Yeah.
mean, it seems like they have tech experience, but why should they be in control of this? And you could argue, well, aren't they vetted in some way? Like, who are they vetted by? We need to ask these questions. Who are they vetted by? Oh, are they vetted by Elon? Who is Elon then vetted by? Doge is privatized. It's not even part of the government. I mean, it's a government contract, but then who's in charge of the government? Trump, a known scam artist.
Well, that's like what you were just talking about with people on the right going so far to the right they become left. I mean, they're
Mhm.
always championing a merit-based society, and as a leftist myself, I don't believe in a merit-based society, and clearly neither do they.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. Trump is making all these executive orders to attempt to make the country more merit-based, while at the same time significant nepotism is involved in the government. People are getting in positions where they shouldn't just based on family relationship. Also, if you take a look at Trump's administration picks, they do not have the experience for the positions that they are in. So if we're trying to be merit-based, he is not practicing what he preaches. Um, and those are just, I mean, those are like the largest examples and just the easiest things to like it's very transparent to see those things
Yeah,
and
of
it's
course.
and it's scary when that stuff is out in the open and then people don't think, well, if if that is so transparent, what are some other things that we're missing? Maybe we should start questioning Trump, Elon, and these other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, I saw a guy on Twitter. I don't know who this guy is, Gunther Eagleman.
Uh, yeah. I mean,
Do you
I
Are you familiar with him?
I'm extremely f familiar with the Twitter account.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, if I had to put money on it, I'd probably wager that he is. It might be a. If I had to put money on it, I'd guess it is a. It's like an alt account for some popular influencer, like a popular conservative influencer, because they. I don't know if I don't know if I sent you that video. There's a national security guy runs a YouTube channel. He did a whole expose on the end wokeness account. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Do you know his name? Because he has his name on Twitter. It's David J. Freeman.
That's Gunther Eagleman.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Or at least that's, yeah, David J. Freeman, political commentator.
does he like put his face on like the internet? Like what a
His face, well, some man's face is the
his
profile
profile
picture.
picture is no way in hell is that him. That's why I
No,
thought like it must be like an alt account for an influencer.
that's true. I yeah, that now that you say that, I'm looking up David J. Freeman and there's nothing coming up.
Because that's what happened with the End Wokeness account is it was essentially more or less proven that it's run by Jack Posobiec, which I don't know if you're familiar with that person, but
I have heard his name.
um, there was that, and then my second guess would have been Gunther Egelin's a Russian uh,
Yeah.
intelligence analyst working behind a desk.
Yeah. No, I mean like these accounts are very easy to fake. I mean unless you hack into them, you can just make up whatever information. It seems like that is what it is, more of a troll account or not a troll account, but an anonymous
Yeah,
fake
no, it's
person
abs
account.
100% an anonymous
It
fake person
says
account.
they live in Texas. Don't know how truthful that is. Their name is David J. Freeman, political commentator. Can't see anything on YouTube
Yeah.
um, about it. I wonder if I type in Gunther Eagleman. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. Um, he tweeted, "Why do we pay taxes?" I initially thought, okay, this seems like a troll, but you look at the comments and it seems super unironic.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean that's more common with conservatives. I mean, so many libertarians are like just super far right. And
mhm.
obviously they don't believe in taxes. So I mean that's not super uncommon.
Yeah, yeah, no, like tweets like this, like I hope they're joking, and then you see the comments, and then it's like yes, obviously taxes are not fun.
I think the heart I think where our um where our analysis should really lie is all right, these people if these people want to question the validity of taxes, great. I mean, I don't like taxes.
Hmm.
I don't we don't have to go into it. I don't necessarily believe in taxes either, but uh
Hmm.
these people's Lord and ruler Donald J. Trump uh is a big tax guy. I mean, he doesn't want to tax the rich, but
No.
he's the president of our government. He needs taxes to do his job, and
Yeah.
these people aren't smart enough to to register that in their brains.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Those are I mean that you're reading my mind right now. Yes, the question itself is not I guess it's not significant in terms of like it's not a bad question, but then you look at the comments and people are so uneducated about the topic unironically. Um and
If you hate
Trump
taxes,
says,
then you
yeah.
need to not like Donald Trump. That's those are the rules.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and hey, himself is saying he wants to get rid of taxes. So then it begs the question, where is the government money is going to get money from? Do they want to get rid of the government in the future? Is
Well,
that what this is going to lead to?
Trump can obviously Trump likes to pander to his supporters, but
Hmm.
he'll use the word taxes and then he'll start championing tariffs, and tariffs
Hmm.
are literally a form of tax. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just nonsensical.
it's a form of tax that gets passed on to the consumer. So would you rather have normal taxes that the government can use for projects that would benefit the country, or you just pay extra for food and the grocery stores get all the money,
Well,
or Amazon gets all the money?
to be clear, I mean, I, who a normal tax. I mean, let's say a normal tax is like income tax. Like, let's for the sake of the argument, let's just call you getting taxed on your paycheck a normal tax. A tariff is
Hmm.
no less a normal tax than that. It's just whatever whatever the importer has to pay for the tariff. That money goes directly to the federal government for the same uses that an income tax would.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like I guess to an extent that does make sense if you're doing tariffs instead of taxes. Um, but taxes are also useful in equalizing um, the different classes.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like if you're a consumer paying a tax in the form of you have to pay more for a product,
Hmm.
or you're paying a tax in the form of you're going to have more money taken out of your paycheck. Those are effectively like this. They effectively accomplish the same goal.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And these conversations are absolutely important. It's just sad to see all the trolling. And it makes me feel like we all need to take a step back from this stuff. Redo fifth grade a little bit. Um, but it's not the conversation that we need in these moments. Trump
No,
is
of course not.
is doing so much, and we need to consider whether this stuff is good or bad. We need to weigh these options. Um, and there is no conversation anywhere close to is this good or bad.
Right.
Everyone's on team A or team B, and that's it. Um, you say one thing one year, and then the next year it changes, and you contradict yourself. A
Or
lot
in
of
the same year you say
yeah,
I don't like taxes, but I love tariffs.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Um, it's
It's like
confusing.
saying two doesn't equal two. Yes, it does.
Yes, no, it's very very confusing, and this country is entirely confused right now. Um, what do we do about it? What do we do about this stuff? Do we speak up more? Do we just fucking leave? Do we just get
One
out of
thing,
here? Are
one
we
one
are we
thing.
doomed? Inevitably, are we just doomed for the future? Can we
You know,
fix this shit?
one thing I do is I donate about a coffee's worth of money to Wikipedia every half year when they alert me on their website.
Hmm.
Keeping that thing around is helpful, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's an independent, private source. Everyone complaining about, different news medias getting funding from USAID. Some people say, let's defund Wikipedia too. It's so liberal. They don't get funded by USAID. So people like you are doing God's work, Lincoln, and
Well, and
maybe I'll start doing
that's
the same
another thing
thing.
that's just so ironic is I mean every single time I see I mean whether it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. I mean obviously I mostly see conservatives doing this, but every
Hmm.
single time they say something about why are you using Wikipedia? It's clearly has a liberal bias or whatever. I
Hmm.
just think to myself, what do you like? I know for a fact that every conservative who says that will mundanely look up like what's the capital of X country and they'll take the answer off of Wikipedia or whatever.
Right, right.
Like
And to a degree, even if something is right wing, we can say I would look at apolitical stuff from Fox News that is bipartisan or apartisan or whatever, and there's no reason for me to believe that they're pushing an agenda unless there's some unknown um, reason for it to be partisan. I think there is a threshold, but you're completely right. Um, some people just like to say it's liberal. Um, it might be um, agreeing with liberal um,
the
policies,
the
facts, information,
the
but
matter of
it's
fact
just the
is
truth.
that the matter of fact is that anything with a quote unquote liberal bias, whatever that actually means, but
Yeah.
anything with that bias is just naturally going to be more factual than
Hmm.
otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
It's
just fear mongering. Um,
it's dumb. Well, it's like demonstrably true that things with a conservative bias are usually false.
yes. And people see that as like their excuse then is, well, don't we want equality? The answer is not always. What we want is fairness. If in a classroom, if I'm teaching a classroom, I have a three strike rule, okay? If you do something bad three times, you're getting a detention. Let's say little Billy has no strikes and Susie has 10 strikes, so she gets three detentions. She comes up to me afterwards and goes, "Hey, how come everyone else doesn't have a detention?" Well, you're just significantly worse.
Yeah,
And that's just the reality of it. And they can't see that.
right.
There was a lot of that exact narrative being pushed while Biden is president or was president. Um, how come all of these right-wing medias are getting censored on Twitter, or all these right-wing pundits getting censored on Twitter or something? Like, did you see that they're
Did you
supporting
did
white
you
supremacists or some shit, you
did you
know?
see that they're calling the Sandy Hook shooting a hoax? Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
exactly. They're
did you see that?
spreading mass amounts of misinformation to millions of people or some shit.
That's actually, I mean, it's a little off topic, but that was I don't know if you saw Kanye West at the Grammys, but
Yeah, yeah,
every time I see him out at public at, I mean, an award show is prestigious and dare I say as like I I don't want to say liberal, but as socially accepting as a show like the Grammys are, I cannot believe they let Kanye, like they allow him to be there. I mean, he
hmm
was on like Alex Jones' show talking about how great Hitler was. Like that's just incredible to me.
yeah, yeah. And I didn't even think about that. I forgot that. It's become too comfortable. People have become too okay with this stuff. I see a lot on Twitter of liberals calling Trump a rapist, which is a semantic debate. But the issue is a lot of people respond with U of TDS or that's incorrect. Check out that George Stephanopoulos case. He's not a rapist. They'll argue that stuff. But the point is, Trump was found by a jury of his peers liable for sexual assault. So just because someone may or may not be, and I don't want to get into this argument, may or may not be correct about calling Trump a rapist, that doesn't take away the fact that he's a sexual abuser, a sexual deviant, has a history of this stuff,
Yeah, but
and that gets swept under the rug and
you know the
doesn't
courts,
matter.
man. It's all infiltrated by the deep state and it's all got a liberal bias, man.
Yep, they all got deep state affiliation. The jury, who was half picked by
That
Trump's lawyers,
yeah, that jury must have been like picked by Biden or something, man.
he must have been under the seats, slipping them a few hundos or something.
Exactly.
Absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. Um, So that's I feel like this has been a good venting slash therapy session about politics.
Yeah, we didn't even cover like, I mean, it's not necessarily relevant, but I mean, there's all the plane disasters and
hmm
all that shit's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. The plane disasters. Yeah. Trump has not um gone to do any kind of press um event
Or oh, that's
at
that
the
is the
plane
one
site.
that is the one thing I didn't bring up. It's not plane related, but in my opinion, the most hands down the most ridiculous thing he's done on a level of principle, not necessarily on a level of uh consequence, but
hmm
I think the most ridiculous thing he's done so far is ex ban all federal employees from listing their pronouns in their email signature.
I agree with that. You wanna elaborate?
Well, I was I didn't know if you had heard that, but
Hmm.
obviously he did that almost. It's kind of old news at this point, but we didn't. Obviously, we haven't done an episode in a while. Uh, but obviously, free speech, um, free s- free speech advocate Donald Trump. I posted about this
Yeah.
on my story. Free speech advocate Donald Trump um bans the most obvious example of like free speech, you like the most explicit, like it's just it's hard to it's I can't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah. And no one bats an eye.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And no one
It's
bats an
just
eye.
it blows my mind.
And Elon Musk does the same thing. So the two most powerful people say one thing and do the other, and no one calls them out for it. So it's a very scary world to be in right now. And also with the pronouns, I think that's also an example, a metaphor for attitude towards the LGBTQ or anyone
Yeah. I mean,
on that spectrum.
that's a whole other can of worms, but uh
If why can't people just put their pronouns there if they want to, you know? Who is it hurting? If someone's
it's
gay, lesbian, trans, who is it hurting? Why are these pronouns forced to be gone?
yeah, I mean, it's just it's I you say it's scary. I mean, yes, it's scary. I think it's just uh ab I like to think of it as absurdist. It is
Hmm.
absurdist comedy that's like real life.
Yeah. Yes.
And it blows my mind.
It almost seems like we're on a reality TV show, but but we're not. This is real life. Um, the biggest thing in the news I think I've seen lately is Trump's attitude towards Palestine, um, Gaza.
Oh, yeah. I
Hey,
just
wait, wait, wait. I don't think he's actually going to do it though, Lincoln, because he said no new wars. And if he said it, I believe it, right?
well, I got like as far as that, like I find it so hard to take any of that stuff seriously. Again, it's just him saying like the United States was gonna like or he wanted to I've heard I don't know, maybe you can enlighten me to what specifically he said, but he effectively just said he wanted to take over the Gaza like Gaza City with U.S. armed forces, no?
Yes, but I also think he did a tweet about no armed forces. So he may have contradicted himself or said something and took it back. Um,
Regardless, I mean
yes, regardless.
what he said with his words was effective like they he wanted to occupy or take over Gaza City. Whenever, I mean, whether it, I mean, obviously Trump likes to say stuff like that. For me, I can never take anything, and it's maybe it's bad, but I can never take anything like that seriously. And again, it's just shit like that's just absurdist comedy to me. And
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I, I don't pay so much attention. Like I saw that and I was like, oh, and all I thought to myself was another comedically ridiculous thing that Donald Trump said, as if he hasn't said comedically ridiculous things another 3 billion times before.
Hmm.
And I just I kind of just wave it off after that.
The good old wave off. The good old we'll get him next time. The good old I hope people maybe figure this out if something similar happens again. Because what can you do? If people are so far into the delusion that they can't even see that stuff like this is an issue, how else do we fix things? What else can we do? Um,
Yeah,
besides just wave it off. Keep doing more
well,
podcasts.
we'll We'll find out in 4 years, I guess. That was like, oh,
Hopefully,
that was a whole other can of worms. Obviously, I don't know if we had time to talk. I don't think we mentioned it, but like back in November, um, Trump joked about like serving like a third term, uh, or he sort of hinted at a possibility of him serving a third term, and then
hmm.
recently, within the past month or so, there was some like I don't know if anything was formally written, but there was talk from some Republican members of the Senate or even
Yes.
Trump himself about like actually making that a possibility. And it's stuff like that that's like I think that stuff is a little more scary uh from my point of view because that seems like something that's a lot more likely, I suppose is the right word, than something like taking over the Gaza Strip.
Hmm. And they, yes, Ron, is it Ron Ogelman or Rob? Andy Ogles, excuse me. Andy Ogles, um, proposed to amend the 22nd Amendment to allow Trump to serve a third term. No person shall be elected to the office of president more than 3 times, nor be elected to any additional term after being elected 2 consecutive terms. So it used to say no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 2 times.
Right.
And then he also added in, nor be elected to any additional term after being elected to 2 consecutive terms.
Right.
And a lot of the liberal response to this was, well, even if this does pass, which it absolutely will not, um, Obama is going to mop the floor.
Yeah, right.
However, with that addition, that no person shall be elected to any additional term after being elected to 2 consecutive terms, Obama would not be qualified to run. So they added that in to make sure they didn't have any historically
Yep.
awesome
Yep.
or well,
Well
popular
liked.
opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So scary. Yeah, that is even announced, considered, presented to the Congress. So how far right are we gonna go? Some extent of me is thinking, let's just let them go absurd. What did you say? Absurdism, as let them go as
Absurdist.
yeah, absurdist. Let them go as absurdist as possible, and then there's gonna be no chance in 2 years from now at the midterms that they'll be able to control the House and the Senate. It'll flip, hopefully, is the hope, and then the second that happens, he's going to get impeached right away. There's no question about it. If if there is a blue Senate majority and a blue House majority, Trump is gone. There have already been articles of impeachment brought. I don't know if you heard about that, but of impeachment brought because of Trump's policy towards Gaza.
I don't think I have heard about that. I mean,
Um, Maybe it was announced and not formally presented.
not unexpected, that's for sure.
Um, Texas Democrat Al Green. The movement to impeach the president has begun. I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done. So he announced that he will bring articles of impeachment. Will it go anywhere?
No. No, it will not. Not
Even, yeah, even
it.
if we impeach him in the House, it's not going to pass in the Senate.
Yeah, I mean, we've impeached him so many times already.
Hmm. And that kind of, it does nothing for the left that you half impeach him or impeach him in the House, but don't impeach him from his presidency, because then it just makes them look bad. Oh, they weren't able to follow through. That's because it's fake, faulty. it's a witch hunt. It just allows that narrative to be pushed again.
Yep.
When at the end of the day, it's just the fact that Trump's sycophants will defend him no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I like to, I mean, when the original impeachments were happening, I never really considered them to be anything that would actually come to fruition, but I
Hmm.
always sort of appreciated the historical uh impact of them. And I mean, you know, th 30 years from now, Donald Trump will be, I mean, he's already the most impeached president in history. He'll be well easily the most impeached president
Hmm.
in American history. And it's just having that in a history book is, I think, symbolically meaningful.
Um, I completely agree. It just sucks that we're going through it now.
Yeah.
Only time will tell, history will tell the truth. Can we just hit the fast forward button?
Yep.
Um, any specific thoughts, anything specific that you want to cover that's really anything jiffing your jaff right now?
No, I think I got it all out of me.
Yeah. Oh man, maybe Elon will upgrade the space lasers with SpaceX and Starlink, and we can just vaporize all the
Oh,
innocent
I'd
Palestinians in Gaza.
I'd be careful about space lasers if I were Elon, man. Marjorie Taylor Greene would not be happy about those.
Yeah, no, don't take control over that, otherwise she'll turn on
Yeah,
her turn on
the
her powers.
the she's got a phobia for Jewish space lasers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in. This is Sean and Lincoln with the Scientific Approach. See you next time.